take it from here.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell, and so great to be here tonight. You were so great to Tom Maxwell and his wife Ellen have been lifelong family friends, so it's very fitting to be here. I also want to thank Carolyn Lindsay, who is a longtime collaborator, partner, and friend of my father's, who helped put this together and was instrumental in tonight. And also Nancy Ganasini, who was so nice and helped the Owens family coordinate and invite guests and do everything. I am going to be brief. For those of you who know my dad, if if I talk much longer, he'll be sneaking out to his car and in bed before we know it. But truly, this is an honor to be here with my dad. Our family is so thrilled that he's being awarded by the Greater Bridgeport Bar Association. My family holds two things dear. My father holds two things incredibly dear, and that is the law profession and the city of Bridgeport and the Greater Bridgeport area. As a lifelong Bridgeport resident, my father's father, Howard Sr., was born on Howard Avenue in Bridgeport. He started a law practice with his friend Ed Shine, and my dad, loves his dad dearly and always was excited to go work with him. And he ended up doing it, but my dad started his own journey when he graduated from Vanderbilt School of Law. He told us that he graduated near the top of his class. This is before Google, so we believed him, and he used this as a tool to make us study, and told us how important it is. But he graduated from Vanderbilt, and his first job after law school was working as an assistant United States attorney under RFK. And he did that in New Haven, and he loved fighting crime, and that was the time when they were going after the mafia and organized crime in New Haven and Connecticut. And he was energized by that, and he ultimately got into criminal law and really enjoyed that. But he loved his days at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and he also got energized about politics there. When he was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, he always told us a story about how he was, how someone gave him a death threat. And he always told that story very proudly. And he liked that he was given a death threat, and he liked that he was not in any way abashed or scared by it. And he always bragged about living in Bridgeport and not locking his doors and being bulletproof. And he is bulletproof. He really is. He's tough and always has been. After the U.S. Attorney's Office, he went and started to work for my grandfather, Howard Owens. And he and my dad's brothers, Robert, who many of you know, started working for Howard Sr. And along with their friends, their relative Steve Donahue, and their brother-in-law Steve Donahue, or cousin-in-law Steve Donahue, and their friend Robert Nicola, really took Owens, Shine, Nicola, and Donahue to another level. And my dad really, truly loved to practice law, and loved that he worked at Owens, Shine, Nicola, and Donahue, and that it was started by his father, and really, all that it allowed him to do. And one of the things that I noticed, as a lawyer, when my dad was younger and we were kids, that tons of people would come by the house, and tons of people would come by and ask for help. My dad always did, trusted estates, and he would sign things, and we had, a very hodgepodge group of people come over to our house over the course of the years. As I mentioned, he did criminal law. But when we were young, we had, he represented some of the members of the Huns, the motorcycle gang, and they came over for some legal advice, and they ended up giving us a ride on their motorcycle, when we loved it, and I think they actually babysat at some point. My parents put people to work in a lot of ways. actually, our house was a little like, I don't know if this is a little bit of an old school reference, but it was a little like they had those old Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase movies where she was a judge and he was an attorney. And they kind of had people come over helping out. And my dad, very much in his days at Owens and Shine, worked a bit on the barter system. For a client that could not pay on time, they would come over and they would do things around the house. And I've inherited many things from my dad, and one of the main things I did with them is the inability to kind of fix anything at the house. You know, he used clients to help, you know, do what needed to be done in the yard and around the house. And so, at one point, we had a guy who my dad represented who was a roofer. And he had been wanting to get the house roofed for a tremendous amount of time. We had this great old house, and the wood roof was needed to be repaired. And it was, you know, the water was coming into the house. He really needed it, but it was expensive. And my dad likes a deal. He's, you know, he likes to know that he's getting the right price. And so he got this guy to come and do the roof, and the guy was working on the barter system. He was not always, you know, he wasn't exactly consistent in his work habits. And so he had taken the roof off, part of it, and I had come home from college, and I'm sleeping one night. I know they're doing work on the roof because he's excited about the new wooden roof on the house. And I hear a cat. I hear a meow, meow. It sounds, first night it sounds okay, and we have a cat that's been with us for years. The next night I hear it again. It sounds a little more, you know, loud. The next night I hear it, and you realize it's starving, and I find out that it's stuck in the roof. And it's been locked in the roof. The wood roof is trapped the house. So I tell my dad, I go down there, Dad, I think Luis, the cat, is locked in the roof. And he's like, oh God, that's terrible. Thank God the other kids are at school. I'll call the roofer. And he calls the guy, and the guy says, I can't be there. It's going to cost a fortune. I'm wherever I am, but I can't come back. Needless to say, it's good the cats have 9 lives. Because we needed to wait a little, but the cat survived it. And we had a very interesting life at the house due to my dad's work with Owens, Shine, and Nicola and Donahue. They not only did criminal, but they had, you know, a ton of great clients and big corporate clients, Fairfield U and Dime Savings Bank. And he loved his work there, and he loved being a lawyer and giving back. He also, during his career, was a state senator. And he loved being a state senator, and he loved public service. He was a 6-term state senator from the north end of Bridgeport and representing the town of Trumbull. And he really thrived in his role. He was the assistant majority leader, and he was the chairman of the Transportation Committee, was responsible for removing tolls from the highways and for building the Stanford train station. And also for Route 8, which was a huge accomplishment for him and for the community. And he also was chairman of the Judiciary Committee, which he loved to do. He got to meet a lot of people in the room and a lot of judges, and he got to be involved in writing laws. And he always loved the law, and this was something that really culminated in a dream for him to be a senator and the head of the Judiciary Committee. And after his work there, and when he decided to move on from being a practicing lawyer, he had the opportunity and was appointed to a judgeship by Governor Rowland at the time. And he was very excited to be a judge. He always wanted to be one. And when I talk to people, a lot of you in the room, the feedback on my dad is that he's a lawyer's judge. You know, he's fair. He's incredibly hardworking. He's responsive to, if it's a criminal case, to the prosecution and the defense. And nothing more does my dad love than seeing a well-prepared lawyer come into the courtroom and make a strong argument and be an advocate for their client. You know, he has the utmost respect for that, and he's having an incredible time doing what he's doing, and we're all really proud of him. I just want to finally say, and the most important of all is that to myself and my sisters, my brother, my dad is the best dad in the world. We love him and respect him. To all of us, he was growing up and still is. He's our Atticus Finch. He represents the best of an attorney. He helps people. He visits people who are on the men in the hospital. He always writes a note when you're feeling bad. If you are in a pickle or down in your luck, he comes and stands by you. And they always say that a character, a person, is how they act. A character of a great person is how they act when they're down. And I think what stands out to me in my dad, makes him so great, is that when you're down and that you're no longer doing well and you're no longer successful, he returns your call in just as much time, and frankly is there for you in an even bigger way. So, Dad, from your kids and your great wife, the love of your life, and the best lady, Ann Owens, we love you so much. Are incredibly proud of your honor, and thank you for everything. Now, I'm going to leave the honor, Judge. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Greater Bridgeport Bar Association presents the Career Service Award to the Honorable Howard T. Owens, Jr.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I just want to let you know, I promise this is not going to be a speech, it's going to be a thank you. HD, there's a woman in the room, and her name is Christine Niemeyer. I saw her here, and she is going to be wild over the fact that I got rid of the tolls, because she's been claiming for at least 30 years that she got rid of the tolls. And she's right, so I want to make sure that I'm not going to go through a lot, only because HT covered everything. I'm very proud of him. He came to work in our law firm, Owens, Shine, and Nicola. He lasted about 3 weeks because Bob Nicola said to him, we're going to start you out making $250 a week and a half of what you bring in. So he said, I'm going to go down to the mail room down in New York City. That would be a little better. In any event, I just want to thank you all. I'm very glad you didn't pitch in on sending a watch, because that's a pretty bad signal. When they come up and they hand you one of these watches, they say party over, step aside. And I've been getting you get kind of vibes and messages that maybe your time has come, you're over 75, and so forth like that. So I thank you very much. I would have been highly distressed if a watch didn't. I just want you to know I've been very, very fortunate. I've had great experience. I worked I had a great job in the United States Attorney's Office, and it was just exciting, fantastic. We only had probably 3 or 4 people working there at the time. Then I got lucky a few times, 5 or 6 times, running for the Senate. There was a lady from Trumbull by the name of Scarpetti who was since gone, and she gave me a couple of beatings. So there were a couple of beatings for about 2 times, but those were great careers. And being a judge is really great. I just have to say, we're all here basically as lawyers and good friends, but I want you to know I've sat in Hartford, I've sat in Danbury, I've sat in New Haven and places like that. But I have to say that the most collegial bar that you could ever work in is in the Bridgeport Bar. People work together, okay? There's no hostility. I'm doing an awful lot of family now at this stage, and I'm some administrative appeals on the way out, kind of like. But it's very, very congenial. We work well together, and again, I am delighted with this honor. I'm thrilled. I was a little bit surprised, and I don't have a great ego. I was a little bit, I had to get pushed a little by my wife Ann, who's been my son and my family and my friends, but I'm honored, and I thank you all very, very much.